Hello everyone, I'm Emerald Louu. This is my channel on YouTube and I'm so happy to see you. And today we're here to talk about Love and Hip Hop Season 10 Episode 2. This is an Emerald Louu review, and let's go ahead and talk about this new episode, right? So the episode opens up and we see Kirk and Rashida, and they're talking about their deficit with what's been going on with the bistro or Frost Bistro. So Carter is being homeschooled, of course, because of what happened last year during the pandemic. The kids weren't going to school, so they had to be homeschooled. And because also of the pandemic, their restaurant, I guess that's what you would call it, Frost Bistro, has been shut down for 4 months. I think they said 4 months, but anyways, they're going to go ahead and reopen the restaurant. But before they can reopen it, there's some issues that they have to deal with. The issues that they're having is that their sons, Kai and Kirk Jr., are beefing because their girlfriends are beefing. And Kelsey tried to get into the middle to break it up, but ended up being in it some way, somehow. So throughout this episode, we see Kirk and Rashida trying to plan of how they're going to do this, how they're going to fix this. And they come up with the idea to just meet up with the kids and to talk about it. Now, when they do go to meet up with them, we see Kai and his girlfriend, Amina, and we see Kelsey. Kelsey, I think, used to work at the store with Rashida and Rashida's mom, if I'm correct, right? And also, we have Sierra. Then we have Kai, and we have Kirk Jr. Kai looks way more like Rashida, and Kirk Jr. looks like Kirk. But the one thing I'm trying to figure out is, I know Kai is definitely Rashida's son, but is Kirk Jr. Rashida's son or Kirk's son with another woman? And Kelsey, I think Kelsey is Kirk's daughter from another relationship, if I'm correct. So, you know, it's a mixed family, but they're all Kirk's kids. So family business, you know, they're all going to be there. And we also see the girlfriend. So basically what we're seeing is Kirk and Rashida are trying to tell them that this is not going great. I don't like how this is going. We have a family business. This isn't how it's supposed to be rocking. Now, right when one of them mentioned something about people feeling like there's favoritism, their daughter Kelsey was like, yeah, there's favoritism because me and Sierra aren't on a schedule and Amina is. So that's when Kirk was like, well, she's a expo. I think that's what he says. And you're not, and we needed help with the expo line. So basically they're getting into the fact that, you know, Kai is the manager and he's, you know, I guess I'm doing a good job. And Kai's like, I know people see me as one way and think I'm disrespectful and all of this other stuff, but I'm not going to change who I am. And I guess he gets frustrated or he doesn't like how the conversation is going because I don't remember what Sierra said. I do remember Amina saying that it's the, basically, in a nutshell, it's the victimization for me, like acting like the victim. And Kai just gets up. And at this point, that's when they're going to commercial. I'm like, Rashida and Kirk don't have a control of this conversation. If they're your kids, why, you know, adult or not, they should be able to respect the fact that you guys are having a conversation. You guys hired them and sit down. But at the same time, if Kai is feeling frustrated and he don't want to curse at anybody and he's feeling very angry and he decides to walk away for a little bit, okay. So Rashida tells Kirk to go after Kai, and Kirk Jr. is like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Basically trying to say that they coddle Kai and that's why he acts the way he does. And then Kai is telling us that his relationship with his brother and sister is not the same. He didn't ask to be manager. And, you know, he has all this pressure of being a manager and everybody else gets to go out and do what they want. And then Kirk also says, you know, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. I can just hire another manager or whatever. But how many times do people always say, do not mix business with pleasure and do not put family in your business? Okay, it's just too much. Because you have a loyalty to them, then they're going to want you to see their side. If you hire me and I'm your family member and there's another person, I'm going to think you have some loyalty to me and you should just be on my side regardless. Okay, so hire other people you don't have no emotional connection to. You don't have any type of, I owe you or I should look out for you. And I'm supposed to understand what you're going through. Because now you didn't hire your crackhead cousin or your thieving ass uncle because they can't find a job because they're crackheads and thieves. And then now you hire them. Now all of a sudden your stuff go missing. And they're like, but you my family. You're supposed to be on my side. And then now they're going to hate you. You see? Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. Oops, you guys, I definitely forgot this scene. So we go to Erica's house and her sister Lisa is there. I don't remember Erica Mena having a older sister before, but hey, maybe I never noticed it. But yes, she's at her house. Her sister comes over. They're talking about her relationship with Safari, and then she reveals that she's pregnant and she hasn't told her husband, and she doesn't know how he's going to react. But then she says she's 2 months away. No, she says I'm 26 weeks, which 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So she's 6 months pregnant and a half? Well, if you do the math, she's just about 6 months pregnant. So how are you 6 months pregnant, your belly growing, and your husband doesn't realize that you're pregnant? No, because, yeah, that doesn't make any sense, Erica. Don't know if this is a real scene. Don't know it's a fake scene. If they just made this up for some shock value. But ain't no way you married to a man and y'all live in the same house. I don't care if you on one side of the house and he's on the other side. Y'all got to see each other some way, somehow, and he don't know you pregnant. But okay. Just had to slide that in there because I didn't want to forget about that, because that was insane. She got a whole sonogram, a whole ultrasound with the baby moving. But he don't know, and you ain't tell him? Interesting. So then we finally see Amaretta. I hope it's Amaretta. Is it Omeretta? Amaretta. I know Amaretta from the Shade Room because Shade Room poster. Other than that, I wouldn't know who Amaretta is because I don't really listen to rap music and I'm not from Atlanta. So I think it's kind of like a city thing, or if you know type of thing. But we meet Amaretta. She's on her way to the radio station to drop her new single, Do Too Much. Okay? She doesn't have a manager. She's looking for a manager. The issue she's having is that they want to change her. Unfortunately, in the industry, quick thing, I feel like the industry is not somewhere anybody should want to be. I feel like the industry is just effed up as it is. They have their way they want things to go. And we pretty much know if you don't pass the brown paper bag test, you ain't getting in. And the one person that's getting in the door of the industry that, I'm surprised at is Megan Thee Stallion. Because Megan Thee Stallion, she naturally is tall, naturally has big boobs, not big boobs, excuse me, naturally has nice boobs, nice size body. And she's chocolate, and she has her original face for now, because we all know, because if you look at Cardi, all of a sudden she don't look right. I even want to say probably Nick. We know Nick with the body, most definitely, okay, but I don't know with her face if she's touched it, okay? But for the most part, and then when we look at R&B singers, right, we look at singers, her is up in a way. But then we have 7th Streeter that she was, pushed up with Chris Brown when he came out with the Fortune album, the Fame and Fortune albums. Her voice was a lot in the background. He did that single with her. She's been dropping music. She writes, but she's not in the forefront. Now, Normani is dark skinned. That kind of is like 7th Streeter, but she had that one single everybody was hyping her up, but we don't hear her no more. So we know the industry is really shady. It's shady as can be. So when Amaretta is telling us that they want her to have a blonde wig and to put on high heels and not want her to be a tomboy, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. Let's look at City Girls, right? And also City Girls are, they are out and they're not the ideal what the industry follows with. But I think it all has to do with your management and everything like that, because they're with Quality. Is it Quality Control that they're with? Something like that. I can't tell you if Young Miami has had work done. JT, we can see she's had work done. And child, I can go on a rant with the city girls and their whole situation, but this is not the video or the time. But we see it. Heels, big butt, big boobs, and they want you to dance. Because we know Young Miami and JT are not dancers. And they're very uncomfortable when they're dancing. But I'm pretty sure they're like, you guys have to dance, you have to sing, you have to rap, and you have to do everything. If you really want to be in this industry, it's a lot, right? It's a lot. They want you to do a lot. They want to overwork you for not that much. And then the other side, they don't have to do that much. They could just play a guitar and sit on a stand and get their money. But then at the same time, Taylor Swift has been dancing. So, hey, I think it's all around that they want to just make you do everything and anything. She's having basically a hard time finding a good manager that's on the same level of what she wants to do and believes in her and isn't trying to change her. She goes to do a signing for her new single, and young baby Tate, you know, comes up and shows up there. And I hope that this stays like this. If we know Love and Hip Hop, they're going to create a beef, right? So I'm really hoping that Omeretta and young baby Tate don't all of a sudden have a big beef, because they can support each other in a good way, right? So they support each other already on social media. This is their first time meeting. They want to link up in the studio. Young baby Tate's like, I want that, you know, let's go to the studio. You know, I'm happy to see you. I don't want to skip the line, but hey, I'm happy to see you. You're doing it good and whatnot. Now, the next scene that I saw, because, you know, I might be missing a scene on this review. Then we see Omeretta. She's doing Taco Tuesday, and her mother, Akila, shows up, right? So Omeretta's problem with her mom is that her mom was her manager, and that Omeretta made a song and she gave her truth, but her mom doesn't like the truth she's speaking in the song. She feels it's disrespectful, but Omeretta's like, but it's my truth. Music is how I release what I have going on. So why are you taking it so personal, right? So they're making, I guess, the taco meat. Her mom's like, oh, you put butter, you don't need butter because meat makes its natural grease. I mean, don't we have to grease the pan? That sounds all good and all, but I think you're supposed to put some grease in the pan. I just throw the meat in there. Okay. Everybody cooks differently, okay? So then they go outside, and her mom's trying to figure out, okay, what's the issue? And Omar's like, you chose a man over your kids. And her mom's like, no, it's not. And I don't like the fact that her mom was like, oh, you're just spoiled. You just are mad because you never got anything. This is the energy I don't appreciate with mothers, because it's starting to be a little bit sickening that y'all are okay to leave the child's father, but then at the same time, Omeretta's dad died when she was 1, right? But y'all have, nah, let me not say that, because it could be that the man left y'all. So it's not that y'all are okay leaving the man. Maybe he left you. But then y'all meet a new guy, and then y'all just don't care about your kids' feelings, right? Your kids telling you this is going on, or this is how they feel, and the guy's doing this, or this might be going on, and y'all don't want to listen to y'all kid. And here Omeretta's telling her mother that her dude was abusive. She didn't deny that. But Omeretta's telling her that you chose him over us and all this other stuff. She's like, oh no, you know, what are you talking about? Like, it's all in your head. I just don't know how you put a pin over your kid. And the one thing I can remember from Medea's family reunion, and the one thing I can just basically say is, don't want to go back to being a single parent doing all the bills on your own, right? You finally have a man in the house who's helping you paying bills, and you don't have to do everything by yourself. And you know that if this man leaves, and if you kick him out, that you're going to have to do everything on your own. Rather than keep your kid happy and have peace, hey, that's the only logical reason I could think that a woman would be like, you know what, this man might be effed up and he might be a jerk and a jackass, but you know what, I ain't paying these bills by myself. But anyways, but that was the thing with Omeretta and her mom, Akilah. It's just, you know, her mom is just like, oh, you're disrespectful. You talked about me in the song and you dissed me and whatever. And Omeretta's like, but you chose a man over us and he was disrespectful and he's rude and that's messed up. And they had no common ground and they don't agree on anything. So the conversation was just whatever. Yandy and Mendeecees arrived to Louisville, Kentucky, and they're getting ready for, I guess, the rally for Breonna Taylor. So when they pull up, right, they're giving us the breakdown of, you know, I'm happy my husband's here or whatever. And then Mendeecees says, I'm on probation. And if I get arrested, I can go back to jail. And I'm just like, but why would you want your husband to possibly get in trouble and bring him out here? I mean, it's not a guarantee that something's going to happen, but if you know what goes on when y'all come together for justice and the cops want to be jackasses, he probably wants to support his wife. He wants to be there for his wife, but your husband's on probation. After a little while, we see that Jock pulls up to Louisville also, and he's giving his whole talk about, you know, being a black man and, you know, standing for something and trying to get justice for Breonna because anything can happen to anybody, right? So then the day comes and everybody's talking. There's some people singing. I don't know if those were gang signs that people were throwing up, but I saw one person doing it in the crowd, and then one of the singers did the same thing. I'm not going to do it because I don't know if it's a gang sign and I'm not gang affiliated and I ain't with the shits, okay? But we see, I want to say Tamika Mallory. She talks, Yandy talks, and then we see Portia Williams, okay? Portia is there, and then Jock speaks. Of course Portia's there because Portia's on Bravo during her thing. She's been not helping, she's been a part of the whole injustice movement. So it would be natural that if she's for Breonna Taylor and Yandy's for Breonna Taylor, that they would meet in Louisville, Kentucky at the Breonna Taylor parade, rally, meetup. I don't know what's the right word, excuse me. Also, the one thing that had me like, what, is when I saw the cops. I don't know if it's the placement that production's doing, if this is really happening, because it just be so weird. Like, you'll see the cops and then they'll show the crowd, and I'm like, so is this a part of what's going on, or did production decide to just post some random clips of, you know, and then put it in and make it look like it's something? But Yandy did tell her husband, you know, you might have to go up to the curb because this is an apartment where it might be a little tricky. And I'm like, but why? But why? When they got Karens coming at people at Victoria's Secret and there's not no cops coming there to protect the peace, but y'all want to protect their peace in the streets, but not at the stores. Anyways, but then, did y'all catch how Carly Red was like, as a mother? And I said, oh no. Carly Red, you have your own issues with your daughter, who, if I can recall, at the family reunion, was crying a lot because she doesn't have a good relationship with you. And her bringing up, or her childhood, you weren't really there because you was trying to chase the bag and get to the money. And even now as adults, you don't want to be a mother either. And I don't understand, and I won't understand, because I didn't have a child in my teenage years. But I would think that even if you have a child in your teenage years, once you become older and you mature, that you would, you know, be able to be a mom. I don't know how that works. I don't know what happened. I don't appreciate her standing up there and being like, as a mother, when your child has issues and she can't vocalize it, or you don't want to understand her and you're not being a really good mother to her. And, you know, I just don't want to hear from you, Carly Red. I'm just so sorry. But that was the episode of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Season 10, Episode 2. I hope you enjoy my review. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And come back for more Emerald Louu, and I'm out.